Hey guys, George here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks that help me create a good guitar solo. Now, I just want to start off by saying that anything that I tell you is not a hard, fast rule. So you can use these as you see fit. I'm going to be using a solo that I recorded last year on a song called All Right by Straw Hat Dynasty. If you want to hear the whole track, link will be in the description below. But for now, let's listen to the solo.
Into my eyes and know that everything is alright.
That was a solo. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. So that genre of music is not the genre of music that I would play normally. So tip number one would be know the genre you're playing and make that solo fit the music. There's nothing worse than somebody totally overplaying their part and, going crazy and doing some nutty guitar solo when the music doesn't really call for that and it's a really chill kind of vibe, Your solo shouldn't be something to show off your skill, but more something to add to the music. Everything that I state here is just my opinion, but I find that really helps create a better song overall when the solo just fits the song. All right, tip number two, have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So what I mean by this is treat it like kind of the last good movie you saw or the good book that you read. You want the solo to start somewhere and then build to a climax and then have a really good ending. You don't want it to climax too soon. You don't want it to peak too soon. You don't want it to peak too soon because you don't want to lose the listener's attention span. Ultimately, you want to tell a story. You want it to start and then bring the listener somewhere before coming to a really satisfying end. Tip number three is use licks that the listener might know or be able to identify. Now, these don't have to be stolen licks, but if you do something really bluesy in a solo, then the listener might identify as that, oh yeah, I've heard a blues lick like that. And that's something that they can identify with and something that they might like just because they can identify with it. Or, if you pull off a big bend, they might think of a big bend they heard in a song and they might link those things up. It's the psychology of how people's brains work. They like to be familiar with something that they're hearing. That might help them subconsciously like the solo more. Tip number four, use rhythmic variation to transition from one part of a solo to another. I'll show you what I mean. In the beginning of the solo to All Right, I use this certain rhythm as I'm building it up. And then at one part, I go to this triplet rhythm. So the solo's kind of building and this new rhythm tells the listener that. And then at the end, I kind of return to a similar rhythm from the beginning. So it kind of wraps everything up. I think that this technique works really well to kind of give the listener something, change it so you're modifying that rhythm, and then come back to something familiar that always feels really good for the listener. Tip number five. Make something that the listener can hear and sing back to you, something that's recognizable for them easily. This is one of the biggest compliments you can get as a guitarist or anyone trying to create a melody. When someone can sing back your riffs or solos, you know that you've done a good job in, implanting that melody in their head and making something catchy that they like, that they want to hear. Think about famous solos that you know. I'm sure you can name the song just from hearing a few licks from the solo. That is a guitarist doing their job and putting an imprint on that song from their solo. Now, I'm not consciously thinking about these things as I'm creating the solo, but I've learned and internalized them so that they can help me create something that's cohesive, musical, and memorable. They're going on in the back of my head as I'm consciously focusing on the music that I'm playing and that I'm hearing to make the best solo possible. I hope these tips helped, and I hope that you can use them in the next solo that you're trying to create. If you like this video, go down there and smash that like button for me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps the channel out a lot, and I'm gonna be putting out a lot more music and guitar related content in the future. Till next time, see ya.